Coach, how are things going? I know you're 1-2 in the Sunshine State Conference. You finished 1-1 at the Cruising Classic, losing to West Georgia in overtime, which is, and I know they have a great program.
No, they're really good. They're probably the #1 team in the South region right now. So I thought our guys competed really well. We played well against them and had a chance to win. And didn't do it. You know, they've got older, experienced players. We're a little younger, and I think that's a factor sometimes. But we bounced back the next day and played a really good team from New Hampshire, Keene State. People down here wouldn't be familiar with, but boy, they're good. They put up 106 points the day before in the tournament, and I was impressed with their team and worried about them, and thought maybe they were tougher than West Georgia. But our guys played really well. We really focused in that game and did a great job of shutting them down. Held them to about 67 or so. I think they scored at the buzzer to get 70, but I was really pleased with the way we played. And then we had you know, a long break without a game. We came back and played Florida Tech Wednesday night here. Florida Tech's got 5 senior starters, all back from last year. They're picked 3rd, I think, in the league, and they're very, very good. We lost 88-85, and really controlled the game except for about a 7 or 8 minute stretch in the second half where they threw a little zone trap at us, and our guys hadn't played against that before and hadn't seen it. It took them a while to get their sea legs, but you know, I was pleased with us. I mean, we shot 60-something% in the first half and 50-something% for the game. You know, the offensive side of the ball was good for us. The defense not so good, but you know, that's okay. I mean, it's a long, you know, campaign. 12-4, 13-3 in the league. We'll win the league, and 11-5, and 10-6 will be right up there at the top. So you can't get too discouraged early. You just keep plugging away and look for improvement. And I see improvement in our team.
Let's talk about this young man who's with us today.
Well, Justin Jeangerard is from Weaverville, California, and you know, he's a long way from home, obviously. He's a really, really special player. You know, I think I told him the other day in practice. I asked him, "Are you happy here?" And he said, "Yeah, Coach, really happy." And I said, "Good, because I love you. I'm glad you're here." He's you know, not only is he an outstanding athlete, he was a three or four sport star, probably any sport he wanted to play. He's been good at in high school. He was a quarterback on the football team, a pitcher and a shortstop on the baseball team, and you know, a star player on the basketball team. And you know, he's always excelled in athletics, but he also excels in the classroom. He had over a 4.0 GPA in high school, and I think his first semester grades, he may have had 1B at the rest A's. So, you know, he's made the adjustment to college academics very well. He plays hard all the time. He gives you his best effort all the time. He's got a lot of talent. We think he's going to be a really special player.
How do you like it?
I love it. Yeah, it's a lot of fun. It's a long way from home, a lot different, but it's a good experience.
What's been the toughest thing for you?
My family and all my friends are pretty close, so I mean that's probably the toughest part. But I mean, I'm in paradise down here, so.
Well, let's talk a little bit about the lineage that you have here in terms of. I guess you were featured in the Miami Herald recently. Your grandfather played on the 1956 Olympic team with Bill Russell.
Yeah. And
he was also an usher at Bill Russell's wedding.
Yeah.
So basketball is obviously in your DNA.
Yeah.
What did your grandfather teach you?
More than anything, just hard work and love for the game. Like he had shoulder surgery, so he couldn't really play with me or anything. But I mean, he just showed me what he used to do, like how he used to work out and practice. But I mean, what he really shared with me is the stories and just love the game. It's the biggest thing.
You're looking at me.
Because I thought I knew a comment was coming. Because you obviously, if he's taught the love of the game, he plays like he loves it.
Oh, he has a great passion for the game, and it's so, you know, we don't talk about stuff a lot outside of NSU, but in athletics today in general, we've come out of that era where everybody got a trophy, you know, and I hate that, and I think coaches everywhere hate that because kids lose the desire to compete or the will to compete and the will to win. Everybody's a winner. Everybody gets a trophy. All you have to do is compete or show up. And you know, I think it's hurt us. I think it's hurt all of us in athletics. And I know coaches complain about it all the time. It's so difficult anymore, Tony, to find guys who play with passion. You know, everybody wants to be a basketball player, but not everybody wants to be a winning basketball player. And there's so many guys out there who are just satisfied to be on the team because that's what they've done all their lives, and they've been rewarded for just being on the team. And, you know, the guys who work the hardest and have the most passion and the most desire to compete at the top level, those guys ought to be rewarded, and they ought to be, you know, special people, and because they're going to be special in life probably too, outside of athletics. And I think that you know, that everybody gets a trophy mentality has really hurt all of us in athletics. And Justin's one of those guys, whether he got a trophy or not, he's going to play as hard as he can play all the time. And I love that about him. He's special.
When the athletes I've spoken to in the past, whether it's the jump from high school to college or college to the pros, the common thread is that when they made the jump, the game just got faster, and that was what was most difficult for them to adjust to because everything just moved at a quicker pace. What about for you?
Yeah, I mean, that's a big part of it also. And like my high school is a really small high school, so I also had to learn decision making, you know, what passes I can get away with in the college game, what passes I can't get away with, you know, when to take what shot's a good shot at a certain time. But I'd say speed's up there too, like just making quicker decisions, making the right ones.
Because you were at such a small school, and because based on what Coach Tuell says about you, you're obviously the captain of all your teams, or if not the captain, the leader of your teams. And as a leader leaving high school, and now you're the young freshman on a team, you probably still want to be a leader, but you have to kind of find your way to make that leadership work, correct?
Yeah, I mean, I like to think of myself as a leader at some point in this team, but to be a leader, you can't just step in and automatically assume that. You know, you have to earn it, and that's every day working hard and, you know, leading by example and with your words too. So, I mean, we have some good leaders this year too. Rob Huntington and Teddy Tassi and Louis Schonauer, those are our captains. And they lead really well. They practice hard, and they play well, and they keep us on our A game. You know.
Is college basketball everything you thought it was?
It's different. It's different, and it's like in high school I loved the game, and then right back into college you relearn to love it. You know, at first it's like, wow, it's a lot of work. You know, weight room every day. You know, gym 3 hours a day, but then you relearn to love it.
And then you have to balance that with your academics because it's a big jump from high school to college to high school.
Yeah. It's all about time management. I mean, you can do it. It's up to you. That's how I see it.
Now, what a fine young man you have.
He's a special guy, and he comes from a great family. His mom and dad are terrific people, and they came down when Justin came to school. And I really probably enjoyed visiting with his mom and dad as much as any parents I've ever gotten to know.
Tell me about the recruiting process with him. How did you find him in Weaverville, California?
Well, you can't find much of anything in Weaverville. We've talked about that before.
Is this is the place with the turtle?
Yeah, it is.
The turtle is the art museum?
Yeah, they painted a turtle and called it an art museum.
Did you hear he said that about?
Oh, I heard it.
Yeah.
I heard it.
And your reaction to that is?
It might be true.
They've got a 7-Eleven, but it's only open 96.
Yeah.
We've talked about this.
Yeah.
Justin was he flew under the radar a little bit because of where he grew up.
Where is it geographically?
Northern California, probably closer to the Oregon border than it is to anything in California, to be honest with you. It's really up there in the north. It's where Bigfoot lives. And I've asked his mom and dad if they've seen Bigfoot. They said not yet. They've heard about it. And Justin, when I was recruiting him, he came down on his visit, and I said, "Have you ever seen Bigfoot?" And he said, "No, but there's a park not far from where I live, and I was running in the park the other day, and there was a bear. A friend of mine actually came across a bear there. And I thought, oh my goodness, we're going to lose this guy. I'm going to get a phone call, and somebody's going to tell me that a bear mauled your star recruit from California." So,
But were you contacted by someone to say, "Hey, you got to look at this"?
Tony, when I was an assistant at Miami, another assistant coach there by the name of Fred Litzenberg.
Mm-hmm.
Fred and I got to be pretty good friends, and Fred lives out in the west coast of Oregon. He's coached a lot of Oregon. He had a camp, and he knew Justin, and saw Justin in camp and liked him, and gave me a heads up about him. And from there, I called a few other friends of mine who had heard about him and knew about him. And one thing led to another, and here he is.
Well, it's great to have you here. Big game this afternoon.
Yeah, Florida Southern's as good as I've watched them on tape, and they scare me to death.
Every team scares you, Coach.
Well, they run, Tony. They're so fast. It's like a track meet when you play them. We've got a lot of shot putters, but we don't have a lot of 100-meter sprinters. They do. So it's going to be a real test for us today.
Well, we look forward to hearing that game right here at 6:40 a.m. Good luck to you, Justin. It was a pleasure to meet you. Big game today for you.
Yes, sir.
It's going to be a real big test for this team, and I have a great feeling that we're going to come out of it next week talking about a big win today.
Well, I hope so. We're going to do everything we can.
All right, Gary Tuell, Justin Jeangerard, thank you so much for joining us. You're listening to Sports Wrap right here on 640 a.m.